Hi everyone, just type a yes from the text chat if you can hear me. Excellent. Welcome everyone. Apologies for starting late. There was some misunderstanding with things and the setup, so please excuse us for being late. And so anyway, here we are, ready to go. So good opportunity to turn up today and clear your financial imprints and money blocks, even if you've been stuck or broke for years. So today it's a really good opportunity just to go through and really just do what I call a bit of it's going to go for about 75 minutes today, an auric clearing, just to go through and clear some blocks around this area of your life. So auric clearing, I have to say, is possibly one of my favorite basically webinars, or in terms of protocols that we do ourselves. So I basically do auric clearings most of the time myself, and I would say there's really a day that goes by without doing some kind of auric or energy clearing, just things out of my body. Even the other day, I was starting to get some soreness in parts of my body, and basically around my stomach region. So I proceeded to do a heap of work around clearing blocks out of my stomach and gallbladder and energetic imprints, and they all proceeded to clear out quite nicely. And I found I needed to do a number of them. So what you're about to learn today is very, very valuable knowledge, not just for every area of your life, not just for your finances, and certainly we found it's helped us massively in that, but also in your health. And even yesterday, I actually was telling my partner, Sammy, as many of you know, that I said, it's really bizarre. I said, I've actually changed my life considerably. I pulled away from my old business that was doing really well and moved more into my path, my spiritual path. It seems like I'm making less, and yet somehow I seem to have more money and more abundance in my life. I said, I seem to be better off than I was before, and I just don't know quite how it happened. And that's when you know auric clearing is working, because you just notice that things in your life just start to work. Sorry about that. Steve Plummer, who's actually an excellent copywriter and marketing expert, who has been a friend of mine. I've done various courses from him. He's helped me out at times. I've helped him out. And one of the things Steve was telling me just the other day, we were talking on the phone, and I said, how are you enjoying because he was doing one of our other trainings, the manifestation one. And he basically said, well, he said, it's quite amazing. He said, it just seems like the more that I actually do, and he said, the better off things seem to be. So he said, it just seems to be that the more of his clearings I'm doing day by day, he said, I can't say I've noticed anything specifically spectacular, but he said, life just seems to get better and better and better. So what you're going to be learning today is how everything is energy, and how energy is basically can be transformed for your personal and financial benefit without guilt. So that's the first thing you'll be learning today. So really just the basics of auric clearing and how to transform energy. We'll also be looking at the spiritual and scientific basis on what causes financial imprints and money blocks, and attracting business and investment losses, and how negative business experiences, investment losses, and cash flow problems can fracture your energy field, and how to clear the imprints permanently, and how to clear them, like we'll do a live clearing. So we'll be doing that today. So we'll be going through and looking a bit about auric clearing, and this is a little bit different. So this is one of the best things, like I said, that clears out your energy and gets you into a really good state for attracting more abundance and more wealth into your life. So as I said, this is probably one of the ones, along with the manifestations, I use the most frequently, and even to the point where right now I'm running a healing certification, and I'm actually training up various healers basically, and the first thing I'm teaching them to do is to actually do this auric healing, auric clearing that we're doing today, just basically introducing them to it. So that's how much I regard this. So you'll be learning some really good stuff in this regard. So you'll know this is for you if basically you have these financial imprints, and so basically you have financial imprints and money blocks and aren't attracting or creating the amount of money you've desired. You've also attracted investment and business losses, and know you have negative energy or spiritual blocks in the way. You're making money and doing well for yourself, but you know there are financial imprints on many blocks stopping you from achieving your highest purpose. Number 2, and you're ready to shift and go to the next level. So which one are you? Just type a 1, 2, or 3 so I get some idea which one is most you. Okay, excellent. So getting a real mixture here, which is quite interesting. We've got a few 3s, got a few 1s, got a couple of 2s. So, okay, so what we've got here is, so basically the thing about auric clearing is I find it works especially well if you're in a situation where you're basically, it works especially well when you're in a situation where you're making good money and you just find you're hitting blocks in your life. So let's just say, for example, you're starting to make money, you've got a job that's making good money, things are coming together, but what you're just finding is that you're hitting blocks, or you're hitting restrictions or limits when it comes to financially stepping forward. Or else you're finding that every single time you start to step out and really go to the next level, you seem to hit a brick wall. Is there anyone who particularly experiences that right now? That you just notice that you seem to hit a brick wall no matter what you do? Yep, Linda, yep. Now I can understand. This is a very common one that people feel. So, anyone else? Yep, Vinco, yep, great. Okay, so quite a few people. Yeah, so this is a common occurrence of people experiencing. And the other thing too is ready to go and shift and go to the next level. I know for me, when I did auric clearing first, I actually had got my life moving more into my flow. And I was amazed once I started doing it, because I discovered all kinds of things I wasn't aware about. Even a couple of nights ago, I went through a very deep auric clearing and personalized meditation session. And next minute, I was clearing out stuff from age 4, but I did not even know it happened in my life. I started having actual visions and little flashbacks of things that happened. And I was told something about what happened when I was 4, which had really affected me. And then it all came up, and I'd completely forgotten about it. But I was remembering things around my father and around work, and how he was really burning out with his work and struggling with it and feeling overwhelmed with the whole thing. And I ended up taking on a lot of his stuff. And that explained for me why whenever I was making any major change in my work, I would have this sense of overwhelm. And as soon as I cleared that out 2 days ago, I'm at the moment in this new state of peace and harmony that I have not felt pretty much in years, where I'm just feeling incredibly at peace, incredibly assured, and just very, very calm. So this is the exciting thing about all of this. And so what this can do for you is it can really help you shift your life and go to the next level and get some pretty profound shifts and pretty profound clearings. So everything is energy, and energy can be transformed. So what we're going to be doing today is, of course, making an offer at the end for a very specific course that's going to help you clear yourself as well. So after we've done the free clearing today, we will be giving a specific offer to people. So, and it will be a little bit of a special treat today, because those people who basically take up the offer today, you've got a nice little surprise at the end, because this is kind of good timing for us because of what we're about to start doing in our auric clearing certification training. So let's just say you're going to be getting some pretty good work on you as a part of this course, as a little bit of a bonus. So really, if you have negative money experiences, or you're experiencing negative money dramas in your life right now, or anything of that kind, or you're just finding money per se is just the real challenge in your life, this is often the result of auric or etheric blocks. What's important to understand in this area is that Ken Wilber, in this book, The Religion of Tomorrow, wrote a very interesting statement where he said that in the 1980s and 90s, psychological or psychotheric kind of medicine to help people with mental health disorder was seen as somehow taboo and that there's something wrong with you if you were doing it. However, now, of course, mental health and psychotherapy and psychology is considered very normal. He predicts that etheric medicine and auric sort of clearings, what we're doing now, will be the way of the future, as people realize that pretty much most major illnesses and problems in people's lives are actually caused ultimately from the etheric layer. And he explained something which I've known for years and which I've been taught and found it hard to communicate to people. He said, more and more people are now waking up and realizing that when you have persistent reoccurring events in your life, it's not really so much even a self-sabotage happening, but actually an etheric or auric layer patterning that's going on that keeps on repeating and coming back in. So no matter what you do to clear it, it keeps coming back in. So pretty profound. So a little bit about me. 10 years with the Australian Tax Office, 19 years experience as a tax specialist in Australian international tax planning. I'm actually qualified accountant, financial advisor. Not that I'm doing the lawyer and financial advisor, and very soon I won't be doing the accountant either anymore. Other than I won't be a licensed accountant. I'll be just more working within a doing this work pretty much full time, as well as doing some financial sovereignty kind of retreats and training. And currently an entrepreneur living the investment dream. Where basically I do everything from crypto to training and, of course, running these courses. Founder of the Awakening Within and City Awakening online church, specializing in clearing money blocks and financial imprints and teaching people how to manifest what they desire. So, okay, so what are auric imprints and attachments? So we don't just have a physical body, we basically have an auric field. The auric field is our energetic or light body. It's what keeps us alive, because this is where our energetic and inside levels lie. We also have 15 chakras within our auric field. And because people aren't aware of this, people start creating blockages and auric attachments through karma and other factors. So basically the auric field is our energetic or light body. And as we mentioned here, it's basically where all of our different blocks and layers are going on within us. So auric attachments are negative energies or entities in our auric field. They can be barbs, hooks, spears, demons, or anything like that. They are created by analogical experiences, and when you create these things called ids. Now, to explain what I mean by an id, or an occupant, is also another part of it. What it means is you basically, when you go analogical, or you make choices not in line with your universal law, or basically your own truth, or reacting to things of extreme emotion, not speaking your own truth, or treating people like dirt, or misuse of sexual energies, or, ironically enough, trying to help others so much that you forget about yourself, all of these things can create these auric attachments, which actually affect and tamper with your energy field. So you try to help each other so much that you actually forget about yourself. So when you make these when you go analogical, so a very good example I'll give you is this. I'll give you a couple of examples. Let's just say that you're in a relationship and you're seeing someone and you think it's going okay, and you might have a sense that things aren't quite what they should be, and so you think, well, I'm going to go back home and I'm going to go and see my partner and see what I can do to help my partner. And lo and behold, you come back and find your partner in bed with someone else. Now, bingo, you go to yourself, okay, so your partner's now in bed with someone else, and you go into trauma, you go into shock. You just go, what the heck? And you react angrily, or you just go frozen, because you go into this space of what's called no time, and you stop thinking it's true, or whatever else. So that's a very good example. Another good example is financially. So basically what happens financially, for example, is let's just say that you've got a situation where you put some money, or you put a whole lot of money into an investment or onto a trade or something else, and perhaps gone a little bit kind of beyond your comfort zone, too much so. So rather than putting money in you can afford to lose, you put most of your money in, or you actually put in all of your finances or whatever else, and next minute before you know it, you discover that you've lost everything in the investment, or there's been a crash in the market or something like that. So not particularly fun, and you get the shock of your life. So you get the basic shock of your life. So what happens here is, let's just say that financially you've had this happen to you. Now you're in shock and trauma. So next time you go to make an investment decision, you then hold back from it because you have a great opportunity come up, but now you're terrified. You just think, what's going to happen next? Or maybe I'll lose my money. And then before you know it, this actual investment happens to do really, really well. And you then go, oh my gosh. And then you make up a story in your mind that says, oh gosh, it just seems whenever I go into investments, they just seem to, whenever I go in, I seem to lose. And whenever I hold back, I don't go in. It's almost like I've got a curse upon me. And bingo, you're now in an etheric loop or mental self-sabotage. Can anyone relate to what I'm telling you here, for example? So who can relate to what I'm saying here? Yes, a few. So that's when you can get yourself into a little bit of a negative loop, which just gets you stuck with things. And one of the reasons why doing trading is one of the best things you can ever do to master that. I mean, I literally have faced every one of my self-sabotages since I've been doing karma, and basically since I've been doing this kind of stuff. And so I've noticed that I was going through this, and this is where auric clearing has been absolutely magnificent, is with trading. Like literally, I pretty much, at one stage with my trading, I was having to literally do 1 or 2 clearings a day because I would have losses, and then I would go analogical. And gradually, bit by bit, it's happening less and less. Now, as soon as I have a loss or two, I just automatically do an auric clearing without even, without even basically questioning it. So another thing that's another example of extreme emotion or whatever else. So let's just say, for example, that someone comes over, like a family member, and you get really angry, and you go beyond kind of just getting a little bit mad, and you just get out of control. And the next minute, before you know it, you're screaming and you're throwing things or whatever else. I mean, afterwards you go, oh my gosh, why did I do that for? And then you just don't feel right. I don't know if has any of you ever felt that, for example, because that's a classic situation as well, where you can start attracting auric clearings or what's called auric attachments, and before you know it, you just don't feel right. Your energy feels out of whack for a while. Linda's the only one who owns up to that one. I can openly own up to that one. Lexi, yikes, yep, I do that one, unfortunately, more often, especially in sporting games or trades, and I've thrown things, and I've had temper tantrums in sport and things like that. So these are all kinds of things where you go into extreme emotion, where you actually automatically open yourself up to these auric attachments to hit you and to attack you and basically come into your energy field. So this just happens when you just react to things with absolutely this extreme emotion. And I can remember a very good example as well was years ago. I had a situation where I had a couple of situations where I asked girls out and got a bit, and basically they said no. And I can remember just going completely analogical and saying it's like whenever I like a girl and she's really attractive, I get rejected by her. And as I thought that thought, and thinking the thought doesn't do that, you can reject the thought, but I took the thought on board and think, yeah, that's certainly the case with me. Next minute, that's what I was believing. And then I just noticed that I was in this state of fear and panic over the next few days and didn't even desire to talk to any girls at all. And I can remember fortunately speaking to my mentor about it. So we did an auric clearing, but he also said to me, you can also auric clear as well by addressing the story. So for example, he said to me, is it true that you always get rejected by attractive girls? So are you trying to tell me that every time in your life since you were born, you got rejected? And I said, well, no, of course not. I've had plenty of attractive girlfriends. She goes, okay. So he said, so you're denying the rights of girls to have preferences. So do you believe that every single girl on this planet attractive should like you? And I was like, well, no. So he said, well, exactly. He said they got the right to express their preference to date you as much as you have to date them. So there's no rejection happening here. They're just expressing their preference. You're not their type. And I was like, oh. And then we finished the auric clearing, and straight away I noticed a shift. So that's another way of doing it. So, yeah, Christine said, I've done that in the past. Look, it's a very common one that people do. And get themselves into this state of mind. So all these happen when you go analogical and build up these auric attachments. So they make you lose touch of your real soul and create a new identity for you. They become more solidified and condensed if not dealt with quickly. They get into each of your 15 chakras and block them. They attract unwanted experiences or relationships in your life, and it becomes impossible to send the be at one with source because you really attract who you are and where you're at. So, for example, if you have a really unwanted experience, and like let's say that you got rejected in a relationship or you perceive that you got rejected with someone, then before you know it, you start attracting people who've got the same kind of what's called paradigm or edge as you've got. So now, of course, the two of you are effectively walking the scarnets, you know, where you're basically in a relationship together, you're bouncing off each other, projecting and mirroring like crazy, and normally ends up not going particularly well. And any of you relate to that? Any of you happen to experience that exact kind of stuff? My guess is there'd be at least a few of you. Yeah, Christine and James are owning up. I'm sure Lexi will own up to that one, Susan. So, and the other one is, of course, financially as well, is the other one that you may actually experience as well. So another good example when it comes to financially is you start attracting financial stuff into your life as well. So same deal, like when you have these with trading or with your business. So what's really important is that you take these and that you can apply these to actually ascend yourself. So a very good example as well is, let's just say that you're looking to increase and double your income. And it just seems like every single time you're hitting a brick wall. So, for example, you may have no issues going on in your business. Your personal life may be relatively okay. But then what happens is in your business, you end up having a financial block hit you, where it just seems like whenever you go to the next level, you can't quite seem to get there. Has anyone experienced that? Like you're doing well for yourself, you really don't have much problem financially, but you just seem to find that when you are going for that next level, that exponential leap, it's like that's where you seem to hit the brick wall. Yep, Linda, Sheldon, yep. Yep, Naomi, yep. So yeah, that's a common one as well. And they're what I call different types of auric blocks. And these are probably some of the ones I've experienced more, where like things are going perfectly fine, but I just can't seem to make that. And I'll give an example from my life that may help some of you. In my tax business and in WealthSafe and that, making money really wasn't an issue for that. You know, it's been a profitable, you know, successful business. But I was finding whenever I seek to go more into a trading, investment, or any kind of next level kind of stuff and get more involved in this spiritual work, I would just hit a block and couldn't do it. And it wasn't until I really started going into some deeper auric clearings, along with the J seals, but especially the auric clearing, and I started doing it as a daily practice. And I would notice what was coming up, and I was amazed at how I was discovering that there was very deep blocks in me just because of what I'd seen or things I'd experienced in church, which I'd gone analogical in many, many years ago, which I'd subconsciously done an association and created these auric tears in my energy field. So every time that I would basically go to step into a spiritual teaching path, these etheric blocks and discarnates that were there would get in the way. So the last probably 6 months, I've been doing more auric clearing than just about any other time. And it's one of the reasons I'm now running this work and doing it successfully. And I can credit it heavily, not just to manifestation, but heavily to auric clearing. So this training works especially well for people who are actually just not looking, who are just currently stuck. I'm using it right now every day in my trading and in my remote viewing and sports betting. I'm clearing myself, clearing the games, clearing the etheric energy of games even, and certainly around myself. Because you start to realize that everything is energy and you can transform it. So this is where it becomes most effective. If, for example, you just find like you'd like to double your business or 10x your business, and that's right now what I've set myself as a manifestation, to 10x myself in the next year. So I know this means that I need to 10x my clearings, 10x sorting out my karma, sorting out energy blocks, sorting out anything that's in the way, even slightly, and sorting out the little minor details in my work. And I've noticed that even as I've been stepping up more in that, like little details in my business, little things to sort out. So essentially to ascend and really step up financially to that next level and move your business to your next level, not just on a one-off basis, but this auric clearing and learning how to do this can be, in all honesty, I truthfully tell you, it's the most common one that I do in my own life, as is William. Whenever we have family issues coming up, we just do an auric clearing. And we just find it works so well. So they locate themselves in the chakras according to the frequency, which means each of your chakras corresponds with different emotional frequencies. So the kind of emotion determines where the blockage will be located. So, for example, an unresolved heartbreak and love will be in the heart chakra, as one very good example. Another very good example is financial ones, like fear of financial survival or lack, will generally be in the root chakra. If you're finding it hard to speak your truth, or you tend to be a swindler or perpetual liar, you'll find you have blocks in your throat chakra. If you find you overthink heavily and you feel blocked from being able to think clearly, that's in your third eye chakra. I had that even 3 days ago. I actually went to my naturopath, who's also a brilliant energy healer on some other stuff, and it showed up that I had a major block on my third eye, which had been put on by dark energy, which was like an auric imprint, which was blocking my third eye, and I could not think clearly. So as soon as we cleared that, I was thinking clearly in no time. So these are some of the different auric attachment things to consider, or the definitions that we use in auric clearing. So basically, yeah, occupants, what occupants are there is basically, these are the best way to think of these is like soulless thought forms. So when you go analogical, you create these kind of energetic entities that are more like soulless thought forms. So not so much demons or dark masters or anything like that. These ones are more just what I call your own self-created thought forms. So like, for example, the other day when I went very analogical over but last week actually, I went very analogical over a bet where I lost a lot of money, where I went against my higher self. And for like 2 or 3 days, I felt like I just couldn't go near or even look at the trading software. And when we tuned in and got William to help me, we saw a major occupant I had created bang in my third eye and right around my third eye chakra and around my crown. So we cleared all of that, and straight away felt a heck of a lot better. And I noticed I was getting straight back into it as if nothing had happened. So the ability to help you recover from a loss is quite brilliant, and enables you to be able to step up. Because the reason why people don't step up to the next level in their business or investing or trading is that subconscious fear that if you step up, but you'll lose, because most of us are terrified of loss. This is where auric clearing helps you considerably to actually to basically clear yourself from the fear of losses and clear yourself from the results of losses. So you start to become more like seeing it like a monopoly game. So who here right now is looking to 10x your business, or at least double your income, or have a much bigger year, or go to some kind of next level? Who would say you're in that situation? Yep, Emma, Natasha, Susan, Christine, Linda, Sheldon, yep, Naomi, Christine. Yeah, okay, lots of people. Great. So, perfect. So basically, this is where auric clearing especially can help you to really clear out these things. Discarnate is another one too, but when you go analogical, you can get a visitor can start happening to you. And these are some of the other ones I've noticed. Like last week, after I had that major loss, I noticed I just felt miserable. I felt really good in every area of my life, but as soon as I'd think around sports betting or trading, I'd feel miserable. And I eventually realized after 2 days, I had definitely gone analogical. So we did the auric clearing, but William and I also realized I had a discarnate. What discarnates are they're beings who've died, who've basically left this 3D planet, they've died, but rather than ascend through the tunnel to go for their life review, because basically when you die, you either basically ascend straight into the, if you're ready for ascension because you've cleared your karma, you go straight through to the highest, basically into what's called the paradise planet. For those who don't, you just go straight, which is the vast majority of people, you just go for a life review to come back through and basically have another go at sorting out your karma. Discarnates are people who are so blocked and so full of fear and got various issues, they haven't actually ascended and they're roaming around trapped, a bit like in the movie Ghost, for those who've seen it. So these things are basically in a terrible place because they're roaming around in this kind of outer darkness, not knowing where to go, and desperately trying to find some kind of grounding. Because imagine, for example, being an alcoholic or being depressed and not having a body to ground yourself with. It's like 10 times worse. So they're looking desperately for a body to get in there and basically suck from your energy field to give them like life force. So what we do is we then do, as part of the auric clearing, we do a clearing of the discarnates, and we make sure that we actually help them out as well. So like a bit of a win-win. We clear them out and actually, but also we release them through the tunnel so they can go into their life review. And some of these discarnates, in all honesty, don't desire a life review. They just know that when they get there, they fail their mission and why they're meant to be here, and really don't desire to go and face the brotherhood. Wormholes and portals, these are like sucking energy places where basically, especially coming from entities, it's very common, or demons or dark masters, which actually are sucking energy out of you. IDs are already mentioned. These are when you go analogical. And personalities and archetypes, basically, these are different things which we're not going to have time to go into today. But archetypes, for example, are when you're the classic rescuer. Like you got this thing called the rescuer, victim, persecutor triangle. I don't know if any of you've heard of this, but it's a very famous psychological model. So when you become a rescuer, for example, or a victim, you fall directly into an archetype, and you will start attracting all kinds of auric attachments on all kinds of levels. So yeah, it's called the triangle. It's basically you've got a persecutor, victim, or rescuer. Whereas the key is to get out of the triangle. And even the other day, I was teaching Sammy, my partner, about this because she had a situation with a family member. And I was showing her, I said, the issue right now, as I said to her, can you see what you're doing? I said, you're being the victim, you're letting this turn even be a persecutor, and now you're looking for me to become a rescuer. So the secret is, I'm not going to be the rescuer, I'm staying out the triangle, because see, both of you are involved in the same drama. So I'm going to help you leave the triangle. And Sammy's very self-aware and moves quickly. So she took the step and she stepped herself out of the triangle. So that's a really good example of how that actually applies. So it's a classic one. It was something that helped me a lot in dealing with relationships with my own family members. But when you get involved in these little triangles, you do start creating all kinds of auric attachments. And yeah, Christine Norby noticed that she'd done lots of rescuing in the past. It's very common, especially people who are spiritually inclined, who've got healing desires. This is very, very much what tends to happen. So you can't help yourself. You start desiring to help people and rescuing people, which doesn't really solve anything for them. It just creates more IDs and things like that. So empaths, Natasha says. That's correct, Natasha. So to clear auric attachments, you have to do an auric clearing. And the reason that you do the auric clearing is because it's to just basically make it easier. It's a little bit like you're desiring to go up a mountain path, to climb to the top of a mountain. But you just can't seem to get there because the way is blocked. One option is to go at great risk and scrabble around the sides where it's slippery and risk falling down. Or the other one is to clear the path to go up the mountain. And once you've cleared the path, although you still have to climb up the mountain, which means you've still got to do the hard work, it now becomes easy if you don't have the thorns and the scraps in the way. So that's the best way to think about an auric clearing. It opens the door for you to step forward and go up to these next levels in your life without restriction or things in your way. So it just makes life a heck of a lot easier for you to do that. So I hope that metaphor helps you a little bit there. So it helps you live your path and purpose, make choices aligned with universal law and your truth, make any karma right that you may have with someone or someone, and serving things, and don't do things for personal gain. So these are the kind of things that keep you away from auric attachments. But living your path and really walking your purpose, it becomes a lot easier to do this once you start walking this path. So what is an auric clearing exactly? Here's a technical definition. It involves scanning the multidimensional light body and using scalar language and energy directing techniques and relevant codes such as Tribeca codes and other codes to communicate with your higher self and subconscious mind to permanently transmute these attachments. You then recover golden soul fragments that represent pearls of wisdom from the issue being cleared. At the end of the session, we download new chords, new templates, and new soul programming from the higher self. Plus, you'll have a higher frequency, and the reality can change by attracting people, places, times, and events that resonate with your new higher frequency. So this is the beauty of what happens. So what you're doing is this is what's called multi-dimensional light body clearing. So this is getting things out of the highest level energy field to stop it playing out in your physical body and in your physical day-to-day life. So it enables you to communicate with your higher self and permanently transmute these attachments. And the beauty of these as well is that as part of a properly done auric clearing is you then recover the full golden soul fragments. Because what happens is when we go analogical, we fracture off part of our soul. And to give you an example, when I was 20, I had a very, very painful experience of a girl that I actually loved very deeply, and made a bit of an inner vow after that, but I wouldn't love. And years later, of course, that vow played out quite perfectly in my life, and my heart never seemed to open. And once I cleared all that vow, one of the things I discovered was that I'd actually fractured off part of my soul, which is what you do. So I'd actually disconnected parts of my soul, and it was trapped. So my soul wasn't fully functioning. So once I went ahead and did this auric clearing and soul fragment clearing, it straight away enabled things to open up for me. So you can permanently recover gold soul fragments. At the end of the session, we download these new chords, new templates, and new soul programming and give you a higher frequency. So this is what's going on in your body. You've got these higher level energy fields and etheric body, which is actually happening. So celestial, etheric, astral, mental, and emotional. I know often when I'm having to clear myself on a really deep level, you can even feel these different levels of your body. For some of you who are more sensitive, if you actually move your hand, say a few inches from you, then move it, say, about 10 inches from you, then move it about, say, 12 inches from you, then about 18 inches from you. For those of you particularly sensitive to energy and auras, you'll actually feel the shift in energy as you do that. Because what you're actually doing is going out into these different layers of the etheric field. So just do that out of curiosity. For those of you who feel like you'd like to do that, just do that. So Emma says, I grabbed a soul fragment by healing childhood trauma. I went back to the house I live in. It was amazing. Yeah, you discover this, Emma. You actually discover with auric clearings, and I do that. And regularly I do things like go back in time, because the truth is time does not actually exist, as quantum physics now shows, as well as spiritual teaching. And I did this the other day, for example, with William. And when we were doing a clearing, I just told him, now let's check my energy field, and it was clear. So I said, now we're back 15 minutes in time. So 15 minutes ago, now check it. And he goes, oh my gosh, you got a dark entity, Dad. What happened? I said, yeah, I did. I just cleared it. But then he asked how it got in, and it was like spot on. So it was an example of proving this to him. We've even tested out this whole theory about time by, for example, what I've done is I've remote viewed 2 photos without even picking the photos. And then I've got someone to pick the photos later on, and then I've got a clear hit on the photos. So that's a little bit of a brain fuck for some of you, just in being able to really show you how this works, that you can actually do that. You can go back in time and actually clear things just by being in that moment. 2 nights ago, I was back in time to when I was 4 years old. I was there really clearly. And I was actually there, as real as it is now. You can also do that in the future. So I regularly do future regression, where I'm just in the future and I'm looking back. And one of my best periods of business growth, I did that. I did a full auric clearing into my future, and then I went back in time. I was basically 6 months ahead and going back in time, advising myself on what to do next. And it was quite profound. And I just did what my future self told me, and I stepped into it. So Peter says, I used to do kinesiology, and this may have cleared a lot of stuff. Yeah, look, I do a lot of kinesiology, Peter, myself as well. You know, I do everything from auric clearing. I do kinesiology. I've been trained how to do it myself. Muscle testing, it's very powerful. And I do a lot of it even when I'm doing webinars. I'm actually using my left hand and doing muscle testing on myself where I need to be, just to open things up and sense things. So, I don't know if any of you have ever got an auric photo, but this is just an example of what your different auras can show. And it amazed me when I got my auric photos, because it literally exactly told where I was at. So even yesterday, when William did a huge clearing with me after something that we were just going through, and we do clearings pretty much daily in this house, and he goes to me, wow, he goes, you've got purple energy all over your head, because I basically, this is when I was healing this trauma from 4 years old. And ever since that's happened, I felt this new level of peace and centeredness. And he said, you just got this purple energy. And I said, yeah. I said, my third eye is really open right now. And even now doing this webinar, my third eye is just really, really open right now. I can see a lot of things very, very clearly. And it's really quite interesting. I'm quite intrigued with this group, actually, because we've got a fairly open group here today on this webinar. So I'm pretty excited what's going to happen. It's also important to realize that quantum physics goes hand in hand with this as well, as I've mentioned, that you've actually not just spiritual teaching now, but scientists now, theologians, philosophers are now all acknowledging this quantum or esoteric realm, and the realization that consciousness precedes matter rather than the other way around. And I know we go over and over and over and over and over that, but of course I cannot emphasize enough that understanding this is so critically important. It's just not funny. And really making sure that you understand that this is now becoming to the point where scientists are now starting to acknowledge this and realize that a lot of the original Einsteinian theory isn't necessarily fully correct. And in the holographic universe, Michael Talbot even suggests that coffee cups, trees, table lamps might not exist or even exist in the way we believe them to exist. In other words, it's all a complete illusion. The mystics are basically 100% correct. So really quite interesting. So very, very interesting. That's all I can say there. So ultimately, our mind is this kind of a radio transmitter, which basically means that it tunes into the radio stations of infinite realms of energy. We are manifesting every single day, every hour, every minute of the day. Our thoughts are really creating our reality pretty much all the time. Not just that, but the collective consciousness of those around us, because in other words, we are completely 100% affected by the mass mind. So our life is a 100% hologram of what we're creating. So the thing is, in our etheric field and everything that's going on in our life, we really are basically experiencing these things. So it's like a film or movie screen, and in turn it's affected by these deeper quantum layers. And it's amazing, the more that you get into this etheric kind of work, you get very surprised and quite blown away just how much we literally are this layer upon layer upon layer of energy, where we've just accumulated heaps of stuff. And every kind of trauma or experience we have when we're young, especially between 0 to 6, just builds up and also wires itself into our central nervous system. And so many people who find you reacting, get highly stressed for no reason and don't know why, realizing you're carrying it in your central nervous system. And it's very interesting with me, for example, to notice my kids who've really been, especially the twins, who've been brought up from an environment of a lot of activations and healings happening all the time. I just notice they don't get highly stressed about things. They just tend to take things very, very easily. They just seem to know that everything's in hand. And they're basically manifesting what they desire very, very easily. And so you start to see this more and more. You just start to manifest things, and you start to find that abundance becomes that. I can remember even recently, I was desiring a particular amount of money for a particular project, and I hadn't checked my crypto accounts for a while, and I just intuitively went on there and checked. And the particular crypto I was in this whole bear market where everything keeps dropping and dropping, had just shot right up, right up. It had doubled in about the last 3 days. And it kept going up for a little bit more, and I just got a sense. They told me to sell some of it now. So I did. I sold some of it, and as soon as I sold some of it, as soon as I sold some of my cryptos, then straight away, it dropped down a little bit again. Now, it's interesting, it's just gone up a little bit again, but the point was, the timing was quite profound, exactly at the right time for me to do that and be able to realize and actually bring some in. So it's really effective when you do that. So ultimately, all things are interconnected. Space and time don't exist, and holographic theory is real. And this is where auric clearing is so spectacularly successful. It enables you just to tune in by your intention and clear things out of your energy field before they start. It's interesting because I first came across this a number of years ago. About 5 years ago, I was at an event, and I talked to this lady who people were paying her $1,500 just to basically have an hour consult with her. And she called herself a medical intuitive. I said, what the heck is that? And she said to me, I do a ferric layer clearing. She said, so I see illnesses coming before they happen. And this is something that I got very curious about, and I've been invested quite a lot of money in that area myself. And I even worked with a very powerful medical intuitive for quite a while. And this does work very, very well. I even had this recently with myself. I saw a potential issue coming up in my body about 4 months ago. I clearly saw it in my ferric layer, but I was about to experience a whole lot of issues in one particular organ. So I asked what to do, and I was told very clearly to do a clearing on it, which I did, and then I was told, now follow up your clearing with a fast. So I went on a fast, on a very specific type of 3-day fast, and bingo, I felt a whole sense of newness in that organ. And it was very interesting because I then went afterwards to somebody who said to me, yeah, it's interesting, you know, you'd had some stuff going on in that particular region. So this stuff really helps you with physical. It helps you even certainly financially for business. It's very effective as well, even for a business, seeing potential problems. So for example, just very recently, I was doing some etheric clearing on my business and on my work, and I clearly saw a potential problem coming, like a potential legal issue or investigation coming on me. It's hard to explain, but I could see potential problems happening. And so I started making moves and taking steps to do things, and sure enough, a letter turned up, and it was a preliminary inquiries letter from a government body. But because I'd already started making moves, it significantly mitigated to the point where probably they pretty much said to me, okay, well, not really much is going to come out of this now because I've already taken these steps. So the point is, you can really start to see things long in advance when you clear yourself and start to work in etheric energy and in the etheric layers of things. So unless you're combating the mass mind, it doesn't matter what you do. So unless you're actually doing that and clearing these out, and keep in mind, if you're living in this holographic, in this universe, and living in this world that we live in right now, it's very hard not to be attracting things regularly. It's a bit like being in a dirty house. And I know I say this over and over and over and over again, but this is one of these things you probably need to hear about 50 times. Because if you're not, because basically every day you go out and you're operating in the business world and being on the internet and being on Facebook and being any of this kind of stuff, then you are going to pick up little things along the way. So the law of attraction and frequency is a lot like gravity or radio waves. And it's very interesting because in the book, The Power, called The Path of Least Resistance, was the path of least resistance. In this particular book, it was written that everything, but basically if you're in this called a loop, what happens is that you move forward and you get pulled back. You move forward and you get pulled back. You move forward and it's like you've got an elastic band that keeps pulling you back to your same reality. Anyone experience that out of interest, just around your business, around finances, or just keep feeling like you move forward, bing back. You move forward, straight back. Move forward, straight back. Yeah, plenty of people. Yeah, it's exhausting. It's not fun, is it? Not fun at all. So this is why, and in all honesty, I'd love to tell you there's a magic solution to this, but what I can tell you is once you start the clearing process and you start doing that, you start getting momentum. And this is more what auric clearing does, and then especially once you start making it a regular or daily thing. And what we will teach you to do for those who join the course is how to do what I call quick auric clearings. So there's longer ones, but there's also what I call 2-minute auric clearings as well, which you can do throughout the day. So there's so many ways we can acquire these auric imprints. And I know we've mentioned them before, but this is just giving you a little bit of a list of things that can actually get you or where you can do it. The biggest thing is the stories that you create around things, or blaming yourself or blaming others. and this kind of stuff. So a lot of it is your reaction to a situation or experience as to how it happens. So basically going broke, being cheated on, all that kind of stuff. So just a few examples of people. So I can give you quite a number. These are people who basically done stuff with us. So Charlotte was someone who basically, probably one of my real action-taking clients. She was fantastic. She just took fast action pretty regularly, used the Tribeca code for manifestation, clearing blockages, and she was one who pretty much, once she learned something, went insane on it. She just did it day after day after day after day. So not surprisingly, she got debts cleared, she got her life turned around pretty fast, and you know, got some of the quickest, most profound results. Probably one of my top, probably 5 clients or 10 over my life in terms of who applied this so diligently. And she made manifestation and auric clearings a regular part of her life. And I remember her telling me when I last spoke to her, she bought a gym. She had actually, which was working. She'd had a restaurant going well, pretty much everything. So this is what starts to happen when you start doing these clearings on yourself regularly. This is someone who actually was in our manifestation class, but actually got some, but we use similar kind of clearing methods where what I did was we went through, she had very bad back problems and also quite heavy debt. Her debt was completely released, like she had a miracle release of a bank from the, of a bank debt, 100 grand, just bank just out of the blue rang her and just released it without her even applying for it. And from what she told me. And the other one was basically she had lower back issues and we cleared it instantly from her in the webinar. So these auric clearings are moving the energy, and we've done this quite regularly even with health issues in our own house, just clearing them out really quickly. This is Adrian. So yeah, Adrian's a guy who basically, yeah, he actually impressed me a lot because Adrian was somebody who, when he first came to me, I have to admit, I thought, gosh, this guy's really negative. I don't know how much he'll get out of it. But he just kept persisting and just got on with it and got on with it. And then he had this. And so he was able to use it to instantly improve his trading account. I've done this many times, by the way, when it comes to myself, just with trading, remote viewing and sports betting and setting myself manifestation goals. So Connor, another one, for example. So he, using this kind of stuff, manifestation and auric clearing, was able to go ahead and clear himself right out. And he's now basically got a 100K plus income. In fact, he's moving fast towards around a 200-300K. Last I spoke to him about this area. He's my personal trainer still to this day and still regularly applies this stuff. This is Helen. So basically, after having a gallbladder removed, she was able to drink alcohol again and things like that and enjoy these kind of things, which she previously wasn't able to do just by applying this and clearing herself. And this was one of the clearing webinars she came along to. So, yep, she puts, love it when you prove the doctor's wrong. Actually, I don't know how this got in twice, but yep, okay. So, Mike. This is another personal trainer that I used to work with. I love personal trainers. 3 of them here are actually personal trainers. Connor, Mike, and Charlotte has done a bit too. Because personal training people get this straight away. They realize that if you take this, apply these clearings and do these regularly, and get into the habit of regular auric clearings, your life does very quickly start to transform. And they realize it's no different really even to you actually just doing some kind of personal training session. You just basically make sure you follow through and do absolutely everything. So much more clarity in his life and new doors opening for him. And this is Christine, who basically came along, and she's actually got involved now in a number of our different courses, including auric clearing and a few others, because she heard my webinar where I spoke about the Council of 9 and how they instructed me about cleaning up the planet. And since then, she's gone through major clearings in her life, major experiences, much more clarity on her own purpose and work to do. And right now, basically clearing a lot of blocks and implants and things like that out of her life. And including plenty of negative energy, says, including karmic lifetimes. So as she says, humbled, empowered, and privileged. She part of this incredible battle to win back this planet. So yeah, no, she's an amazing lady, Christine, too. Someone who's just an action taker and a go-getter. And they're the people who get the best. I find that people who take action, who basically take on what we teach and do these clearings as a regular thing and really go all out with it, start to see the results in their business, their finances, and in their personal life. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just go through and do a nice little clearing for you as a thank you for coming along now. And then we'll take questions and then we'll be finished off. So it will be finished in the next by 11 o'clock Perth time, which is basically 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, or if you're over in America right now, it'll be finished by 10 o'clock at night New York time. So, okay. So basically, and I know I keep mentioning this over and over for some of you who've come to these before, but I don't believe you can ever say this one enough, the importance of knowing how to regulate your brain state. One of the reasons why people do get trauma and high levels of stress is because their brain state, they're carrying so much drama, trauma, and negative energy around themselves. So the deeper your brain state, the stronger programming occurring in the state. So the more you can go into a theta state or an alpha state at the very least, that's when the auric clearing are most effective. So if you try and do an auric clearing when you're in a beta state, you will not feel a thing, okay? Sometimes I have people say to me, I didn't feel anything. Usually that just means their mind is thinking very heavily. They've got a very overactive mind. That's usually the case. Not always. Occasionally some people are still open but just don't feel as much. It more happens for them in the coming days. I have met people like that. But the vast majority of the time. So the key is just to be able to breathe through regulating your breathing and through your intention to move into this deeper state, so we can go ahead and do this auric clearing for you. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be just basically doing a clearing of one of your chakras for you today, okay? Because to do a thorough auric clearing, we go through all the chakras and do a full clearing. So today what we're going to do is we're just going to do one chakra, okay? So you can actually feel it. So we're going to focus on the root chakra because that's the financial chakra, okay? So we're just going to focus on that one. And if we've got time, we might even focus on the heart, but we're going to focus on the throat chakra. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to start getting you to breathe for 4 counts through your nose. And then hold for 4 counts. And then breathe out through the mouth for 8 counts. So breathing in through the nose for 4 counts. And hold for 4 counts. And breathe for 8 counts. Just keep breathing through the nose for 4, and then hold for 4, and then breathe out for 8 counts through the mouth. And just keep your eyes centered on the center of this code, especially let your left eye focus heavily on the center of this code. Some of you might notice that the code is moving and vibrating. It is commanded by the laws of the golden liquid realms and the chemical powers that the auric ultimate calibration frequency commander who code is used to clear all auric attachments and all unintended creation from each person's first chakra, the root chakra, and activate it for its highest frequency potential and original divine functions in the best possible way for her or him and in line with his higher self now. Ta'asia in Tadoi. It is also commanded by the laws of the golden liquid realms and the chemical powers and the Christ consciousness that the auric ultimate calibration frequency commander who code be used to clear all occupants, all edge, discarnates, all personas, etc. related to them from each person's first chakra and also activate it to its highest frequency potential and original divine function now. Ta'asia in Tadoi. It is also commanded by the laws of the golden liquid realms and the chemical powers that the auric ultimate calibration frequency commander who code be used to clear all occupants, all edge discarnates, personas, etc. related to each person's fourth heart chakra and activate it to its highest frequency potential and original divine function now. Aham Brahmas me Ta'asia in Tadoi. And clearing all portals and closing all portals, wormholes also, with each person in that fourth chakra now. Okay, so take a glass of water and then just share exactly what you felt. Just take a glass of water, everyone, and then just share what you experienced. Because there was a fair bit of energy moving, especially from that first chakra. Christine couldn't stay awake. That's actually good. You must be really going into a deep state, Christine, and must have needed some clearing there. So that's great. It's very good when you fall into a half sleep state. Yeah, Natasha as well. So people coming pretty regularly, I'm noticing that happens. That's just normal. So that means you're clearing. Alexi felt restraints coming off around that chakra. Yep. Gwen, high concentration of energy in the root chakra. Cold chills. Coughing per meter. Wow, keep yawning, total calmness from James. Yeah, it's very powerful, this. What about the rest of you? Jeff says, both chakra clearings are amazing. However, I'd like to know why you chose to add the extra heart clearing on the heart chakra, Warren. I really felt that. Yeah, I felt too, Jeff, because I really felt for everyone to experience how powerful this clearing actually is. So you'll see why it's so important to actually clear out all your 7 chakras, because, for example, your throat chakra is particularly important for those of you choosing to step out in your purpose and speak your truth and run and grow your businesses or work. So that's very important. The heart's very important to get more clarity around your purpose and following your heart. So yeah, Naomi says, still feel it. That's great, Naomi. Yeah, you're very sensitive to energy. And sleepy and subdued. Linda, sleepy and tingling all over. James, total calmness. Famida, coughing, yet you're obviously releasing. What? Peter, meditatively relaxed. Naomi, still feeling it? Yep, no, you can, can't you? Susan feels energy flooding my eyes physically, eyesight change, openings in the root chakra. Smile with a heart chakra, feel happy. Thank you so much. Yep, Emma, feeling movement. Thank you very much. No, you're welcome, Emma. Christine, initially coughing, then felt a lot lighter, a flash of insight related to a project I'm doing. Yeah, that's what starts happening. That's brilliant. Famida, feels so much beautiful energy in my heart chakra. Lexi, calmness, mentally relaxed, happy. Mitchell, feeling a sense of peace. Yeah, that's what you start feeling. You start feeling more and more peace when you do this stuff. It becomes more and more of the way of life of how you feel. So that's great. Susan, feeling peaceful and grateful. Yeah, absolutely. So it's a powerful code, this, as I'm sure you would agree. It's one of my favorites I still use to this day. This one, along with the Tribeca code, would be probably 2 of my main codes that I use, just to give you a bit of a heads up. So any questions before we go ahead and just share what's next? Susan puts, I'm quietly excited about life. That's great, as you should be. You have great things ahead of you, Susan. Mitch, my third eye just fired up as soon as I looked at that code. Yeah, well, the more you do it, Mitch, you probably noticed that the more you do these clearings, the more things start to happen. So, yeah, thanks, Peter. No questions. Yep, okay, excellent. So no questions, everyone's saying, so let's just get on with it. Okay, so what's next? And this is what I call a fast track auric clearing program, just to help people accelerate. So this is about experiencing a full auric clearing and miracles in your life. So it's going to be a 3-class transformation event to enable you to basically attract more finances, clear energy blockages, experience better health, and just a more peaceful state of mind. And in all honesty, the more peaceful state of mind, peace of mind, is what all of us are seeking day to day. And I don't really think of anything that gives peace of mind better than this auric clearing transformation. That's probably, for me, what I find, like I said, for myself and for our family, we just do this over and over and over and over again. So basically, a more peaceful state of mind and much more. So basically, it's going to be for as low as 97 per week. As I said, we're going to keep this relatively cost effective for people and do it over basically a 3-week period, and we've got a 6-week payment plan. So keep watching for more details. So what you'll be getting is 3 live, when I say 90 minutes, it'll be minimum of 90 minutes. Sometimes they do go a bit longer. Whatever it takes to basically get the results for people and make sure you get a really good clearing. That's our #1 priority with our events. And those of you who've done our other courses know we generally go longer and go over and above to really give people the results. Unlimited access to the recordings of each session on a brand new membership site about to be launched in the next couple of weeks. They'll be on the temporary membership site for now. And low cost to obtain knowledge. In all honesty, it cost me over 15 grand to obtain. And I did various auric clearings training, and it probably costs a lot more if I'm really honest with you, but let's just say around 15 grand. So it will help you if you're ready to clear imprints in your auric field, to clear blockages, and basically negative energies and entities, even curses, hexes and spells around your business and investments, stopping self-sabotage around your finances as well, clearing negative associations around taxable governments which can hold you back. This is what I found for me. I was amazed. I didn't think I had this, but when I first started doing auric clearing, I found I had a lot of negative associations just because I'd been involved in law reform and was very negative towards government generally. This really helped me to get a balanced perspective where I could see that I needed to address injustices, but at the same time keep myself in a good, peaceful state of mind. Clear energetic blockages or beliefs around health and relationships, keeping you sick or unhappy in a relationship. Clear blocks keeping you out of alignment with your purpose, and creating an energetic shield over your finances. So these are the things that basically showed up quite heavily. So you'll be getting a fair bit of work around finances, greater peace of mind, clearing all kinds of negative associations and things like that. So week 1 will be an introduction and an esoteric and scientific foundation. And we will be doing a clearing towards the end, but the full clearing will start happening in week 2 because we're going to focus specifically on the money blocks, and we're going to cover all 15 chakras. And you're going to be going through the longer form of clearing. So there's 2 forms of auric clearing. There's a quick one and there's a longer form. And you'll be going through the longer form because the longer form can often hunt out little issues here and there and really clear them out of your energy field and out of your hologram. So this will be looking at tax, regulatory and other imprints, things that are hovering in your etheric layer that potentially are stopping you from moving forward. So things that are really hovering in your etheric layer. So things like, say, a potential lawsuit, potential investment, and things that are stopping you attracting the kind of income that you desire to have. And then we'll be doing a part 2 around money and going to some of the more unusual blocks. But we'll also be doing auric clearing around relationships and health. So we'll be doing a fair bit of work in that one around relationships and health, doing clearings around that kind of area, and how to basically work that in with also taking practical action. Followed up by what we call a bonus week, which is going to be a final integration session to basically go through, answer questions, and help clear anyone who still has blocks. So it's going to be starting next week. Time will be advised and confirmed. Again, just by who signs up and basically working in terms of, because we find, for example, if it's mainly US people, we do a different time if it's mainly Australian people. So that's what we're just going to check on this one. So who this is not for. So basically, it's not for people who are basically what I call closed-minded, not open-minded. So in other words, you're not open to higher realms or transforming your situation. So if you're a bit of a know-all and you basically think you know it all, everything's fine for you, but in all honesty, number 1, you probably shouldn't be here in the first place. But number 2, this webinar is not going to be for you. This is where, like I said, we're hitting cutting-edge etheric layer, etheric energy technology. And non-committed people, generally like with anything, if you're willing to take real action, you'll get results. And auric clearing especially is like that. I mean, I was radically passionate about it. I literally went extreme when I first learnt this. I was doing it almost every minute, every hour of the day and seeing results in my life as a result. And I still to this day am doing it heavily and extensively. And non-committed people unwilling to take action who find excuses to justify their lack of results and they blame others for their poor choices. And they invest, so in other words, you won't invest in your spiritual and personal growth, won't put the work in and won't follow through to attend classes. So it isn't for you. This is for you if you're open-minded or curious to basically know, to creative or out of the blocks to the solutions, and you're really fed up with bad decisions around money, or you're just fed up basically with not going to that next level. Like you're ready to take your business to the next level, you're ready to grow your income, you've made 2019 the year where things are going to really move forward, but you've just decided, look, this is the year I'm going to do it. I'm going to get these blockages. I've had enough. I've absolutely had enough. You know, I'm absolutely ready to smash through my blocks and I'm ready to make 2019 a really great year. You're an action taker, teacher and humble. You follow through what you start and know the importance of good mentoring and keeping an open mind. And you're already successful, but you're keen to invest in your self-growth and to improve and evolve. In other words, to take yourself and accelerate your results and 10x your results or 2x your results. So it's 3 weekly live webinars plus the bonus webinar for follow-up with access to the recordings. So this is normally, I basically paid $5,000 US, or was what they were charging for the first auric clearing I did. That was a 5-week course. The 3-week course, we were looking at $19.97. So that's basically the kind of money I was spending when I learnt this. So what I'm doing today is I'm making it $528, an upfront one-off investment, or $97 per week in 6 installments, which basically is a total of $582. So $528 upfront investment, or $97 per week in 6 installments. So you'll get the 3 90-minute live energy transforming classes, unlimited access to the recordings of each session, and low cost to obtain knowledge. It cost me, well over $15,000 to obtain, probably a lot more than that. As per usual in our courses, we're removing the risk for you, making it very clear. So making sure that basically there's nothing to be in the way. So you can attend the first class, and if you decide it isn't for you, then let us know and we cancel your payment. So basically you attend the first class and we basically will refund your money. Now there's special bonus only if you commit today, okay? So this is, like I mentioned, we're making it a bit special for people to really make it valuable. So what we're doing is anyone who signs up today on the course, you're going to be getting a couple of benefits. Number one, you're getting one that's on here and one which I've decided to give, which which basically wasn't even on this slide. It was a last minute one. So this one is William is going to be giving basically a one-on-one clearing to anyone who signs up. So if you sign up today and pay for this, you will be basically getting a one-on-one clearing. So as well as doing the course, you will get a one-on-one specific one. And that's very useful because let's say you've got a particular issue in finances or business that's really in your way, you may need a very, very deep clearing on one of your chakras, where you might just spend a lot more time, say, in your root chakra or on your throat chakra. And sometimes they can take quite a while. So this is where you get a personalized session with William, okay? So he sees energy as a track record in healings, and a number of people here have experienced how good this guy is and what he does. You get specific focus on your financial or personal needs to get a targeted healing. Right now, we're only giving one-on-one access to William, basically the people who sign up as courses, and those of you know that pretty well. And yeah, look, you'll find with auric clearings, you're going to get an immediate increase in shift in energy, libido, zest for life, and your finances. That's generally been pretty normal, but getting an increase in zest for life and in your purpose. So it'd be $9.97 and basically free if you sign up today. The other one we're going to do as well is, like I mentioned, we're doing an auric clearing certification training. Now with that clearing, we're going to be doing some webinars for them where we're going to be getting the people we're training to do some clearing. So for those who sign up today, we're also going to we're going to be picking people who can effectively get the free auric clearing as practiced by these people. So as well as doing the one in the course, as well as with William, you'll be given first access to basically come along and get these free auric clearings. So pretty much you'll be getting, in the next few weeks, you'll be getting smashed with your energy cleared right out. So you'll be getting to clean up out of your life. So believe me when I say this is pretty damn good value. So, okay, so who's basically in for this one and who's going to step up? And like I said, today, it has to basically sign up today. So who's interested? Who's in? Sheldon, great. Linda, great. Yep, excellent. Glenn, I signed up in December for the auric course. Is it possible to get a one-on-one with William as well? No, it's not, Glenn, only because this is specifically one we're offering for this one in exchange for doing one less class than we did in the one in December. What we are going to do is, if you signed up and previously done an auric clearing, you can message me separately afterwards, because if you've already done the auric clearing course, we can do a revised deal for you. What we're going to do with people who've already done the previous course and would like to do this one, we would do a 50% one. Yep, Naomi, sure. Yep, understood. So yeah, I'll message you later on, Glenn. So it's great, Sheldon, great, Linda. Yep, great, thanks, Mark. Okay, yep, no problem. So what I'm going to do is just get this link and put it in the text chat for you, so you can get access to it. So the link is now in the text chat for you. I'll just quickly show you the page so you can see it for yourself. Yep. So I've got it here. In fact, there's actually, yep, actually we've got a better deal than that. So it's 12 payments of 55. So people who, I've actually got that wrong. So you got actually 12 payments of $55. So that's the other option you got available to you. So for both, that's weekly payments. So that's even better. So for those of you who are really keen, and like I said, this will be really helping you to accelerate. Yep, that does, Jeff. Not a problem. Happy to, in your case, no problem. Mitch, yep, thanks. Awesome. Sounds great, Mitch. So anybody else? So good, yep. Looks like most people have been in some way signing up or involved, which is great. Yeah, reasonably similar, Sheldon, but there's going to be some differences this time round. And like I'm saying, we're going to be doing some more specialized ones. And this one, we're going to be incorporating some of our new knowledge. So it's going to be a lot more deeper and a lot more profound than the other one. Yep, Christine, that's great. Christine Norby, brilliant. So anybody else? Any other questions anyone's got? So yeah, so basically you have got an option to do $55 per week. And like I'm saying, you do need to sign up today and you'll be getting that one-on-one session with William, and as well as being first access to get worked on with these auric clearings, with these certifications. Okay. So excellent, everyone. Thanks once again. And Jeff says, thanks once again for great clearings. This is a recording. Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. Well, thank you, heaps. And thanks for coming on, and thanks for your support, and thanks to everyone. And yeah, look forward to basically seeing all of you on our next webinars. So, okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye for now. Susan, I'm really grateful. Thank you. It's really helped me understand. So excellent. That'd be great.